Welcome back to normal baseball. We saw a controversial play involving Jonah Heim blocking the plate in yesterday's Rangers White Sox game. We're going to talk about if Shohei Ohtani is actually available anymore. And we saw a few dominant pitching performances yesterday. We're going to be talking about all of that. Welcome back to normal baseball. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. We say in advance, if you enjoy, make sure subscribe, leave a like, comment, share with your friends, and let's get right into it. So, let's talk about the controversial call from last night's White Sox-Rangers game that literally did change the outcome of the game. Jonah Heim, Rangers catcher, was called for blocking the plate in a 6-6 game in the bottom of the eighth inning. Would have been the last out of the inning. The White Sox had a runner on second, 2 outs, and the batter hit a little bloop single to the left field. Travis Jankowski came up throwing. His throw was on target, on the money, beat the runner, tagged the runner out before he touched the plate, and should have been the end of the inning. However, umpire, Mr. Umpire Man,
the ump show,
or rather the White Sox called for a review because they, for some reason, I don't know, the ump phrased it this way, that they were challenging both if Jonah Heim was blocking the plate and if he was just out or safe, if he got his hand in before he was tagged. They were showing replays, and the broadcast immediately was like, well, that's not blocking, so let's see if he got his hand in before he was tagged. And no, he was out. He did not get his hand in before he was tagged. Umpires come back out, and they say that the runner was actually safe because Jonah Heim was blocking the plate. And in no way, shape, or form was Jonah Heim really blocking the plate. His foot was on the plate, yes, but he gave Elvis Andrus, who was the runner, a clear lane to run and a clear lane to slide, and he didn't block the plate with his foot. Andrus still could have touched home plate with his hand. So I really don't understand what the thought process was in this call, because obviously it went to New York. So that's MLB calling that play. That's not really the umps. That's MLB calling that. And I don't really understand the thought process whatsoever, because Jonah Heim is not blocking the plate. Lewis, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't completely understand what the call was either. At first, when you watch it, you think, okay, maybe his foot is in front of where the foul line, like the running line, meets the home plate, which in that case would be like, okay, maybe I can understand it. But then when they go to review, they show the overhead, they show from behind third base, they show from behind home plate, down the third baseline. It's more and more obvious that, obviously, Jonah Heim was nowhere near close to blocking the plate, nowhere near close to interfering with the running of Elvis Andrus going to home. I just think that this is a classic case of the ump show. This is the most recent occurrence of the ump show really coming out in full display because they want to be the center of attention. Good for them.
But that's not the umpires.
It is. They made the call. What?
No, it's not. New York makes the call when they review it.
But even then, what did they see that we didn't see then? That makes them think that Jonah Heim was blocking the plate. Uh-oh.
I think maybe what the thought process was maybe that his foot was too far in front of the plate, and that he kind of blocked him from touching it, but he really didn't. He was to the side of the plate. Andrus had a running lane. I legitimately don't even know what the thought process is here.
My only thought is because Andrus decided to not slide into a side of home plate, that since when you watch the replay, you see that Elvis Andrus' hand very clearly goes into Jonah Heim's foot. That's my only thought. But even then, it wasn't like his foot was in front of home plate. It was on home plate.
I was gonna say to touch home plate or to touch Jonah's foot, he has to hit home plate first.
Oh yeah, the rule is such
that's
bullshit.
Nothing to do with. Oh, it's terrible. I get the Posey rule and blocking the plate, but Andrus had a clear lane of. I mean, I get it in general. I don't mean I get it in this situation. But Andrus had a clear lane. He could have went all the way, and he slid in nicely. I don't know. And Jonah tagged him. Heim tagged him before he touched the plate anyway. So it's not like you could even argue that he was safe.
Yeah, and
So I don't
also
know. It just seems wrong.
if it's true that both the White Sox challenged the interference and the out call, I'm pretty sure that's against the rules as well. You're only allowed to challenge one play.
Well,
You're
I'm sure that.
one outcome or one call. You cannot challenge both of them. Because if the umpire didn't
Oh,
pick up on the interference right away, I think it was abundantly clear that it wasn't at all, then you can only challenge the out call. Or you can only challenge the
no, you could
interference.
challenge. Yeah, I was gonna say you could definitely challenge the interference. I don't know. I don't think I'm not questioning that. I mean, I think that I don't really care at that point because you could still make the right call, so I really don't care.
Mm,
Um, and it's not like he was safe with the tag, you know. So I really don't care because he was out both ways you look at it, in my opinion. And yeah, the White Sox scored, made it a 7-6 game, and they won the game 7-6.
yeah,
So this was a big moment in this game. Really, really unfortunate. And yeah, I think just do better because that is not blocking the plate at all.
I agree.
Because
I agree.
quite literally, the plate was not blocked.
Yes. And of course, the biggest loser in this situation, no, obviously no offense, not meant harmfully, is Travis Jankowski, who made an amazing throw. I mean, that was
Jan,
just
Jan,
Jankowski. Sorry.
Jan,
Uh,
Jan.
Absolutely beautiful throw, right on the money, right to Jonah
Oh
Heim,
yeah.
and Jonah Heim slapping down a tag was also amazing. So, in my book, that game's a tie. We'll see what happens moving forward in terms of my
He's
book. Maybe I'll
he's
call
sim-
him in to ask him to play, one more inning of baseball. We'll see.
he's simply the GOAT. Yeah, I'm sure you have that power, don't you?
Get the Rangers down here.
Well, that series is now 1-1. Don't believe they play on Thursday, so I think today is the last. Yeah, today's the last game of the series. So whoever wins tonight takes the series. It is Martin Perez versus Michael Kopech. So we'll see what happens there because right now the Rangers should have. I mean, I can't even say that the Rangers should have won that series or won that game because we wouldn't have known. You know, it would have been a 6-6 ball game going into the ninth inning. So anything could have happened at that point.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but yeah, that was a very butchered call to say the least.
Could not agree with you more. Very embarrassing part. Very embarrassing of New York and baseball itself, and the MLB front offices not being able to understand that was very clearly not a blocking play, but the show must go on.
Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know what you guys think because I've seen a couple people say that it was blocking. Um, complete completely wrong. They're just saying it to say it. You know, one of those things.
Yeah.
Uh, but let us know. Let us know what you think.
Uh,
We gave our opinions. We both obviously don't think it was blocking because let us know what you think. We gave you what we think. We both don't think it was blocking because, well, quite clearly it wasn't. So if you think anything else, let us know. Do you want to talk about a couple of other games last night? A couple other games that happened last night. Nothing, no controversy really, but just some other stuff that happened before we get into our final little topic here.
yeah, let's talk about it.
So, a few dominant pitching performances. I know you wanted to talk about those a little bit, but I'll talk about a couple first. So, first, um, Framber Valdez had a crazy good pitching performance last night against the New York Mets. He went 8 innings pitched, only giving up 2 earned runs and striking out 9 batters. He actually had a perfect game going into the fifth inning, or rather through five, I believe.
It
And
was 5 1/3.
5 1/3. He was looking dominant, and even after that, he was looking dominant. I believe his only mistake was to Francisco Alvarez, who doubled. But was that how did the Mets score in this game?
The
Yeah,
Mets
his only
scored.
mistake was just sac fly and a single. Like he didn't give up anything crazy. Um, Framber had a dominant performance, but the Astros won that game 4-2. Verlander got another loss. He's now two
In
and
Houston.
four for the Mets. in Houston against his former team. Bregman hit a 3-run homer off him, which
Yeah.
really
Uh,
out propelled the Astros.
so I will admit, when I saw the notification that Alex Bregman just went yard, I obviously knew that Justin Verlander was pitching today yesterday for the New York Mets. My first thought was, that fits. If anyone on the Houston Astros was going to homer tonight, it was going to be Alex Bregman, considering I feel like Bregman as a person off the baseball field is this guy who just wants to be friends with everybody, but always wants to have that upper edge of saying, like, oh, I ran a faster 40-yard dash time. Oh, I benched more than you. And now I feel like he'll always have that over Justin Verlander. I hit the 3-run homer off you. And I think he's a very humble guy. Alex Bregman, very nice dude. But I do think that is one thing that I can imagine in my head, him, like, after the game, texting JV and be like, thanks for the free pitch tonight. That's exactly what I picture, and you cannot tell me otherwise.
I mean, I guess, yeah, fair.
Yeah. But Framber was perfect.
Too. Well, he wasn't perfect.
He was perfect through 5 1/3, which was
he was good,
really fun to watch.
He was great. Well, now the series is tied 1-1 too.
Yeah.
This series is tied 1-1, so we have another rubber match coming tonight. So I'm excited to see that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the pitching matchup for tonight? Let me check out real quick. Pitching matchup for tonight in that series is McGill versus Christian Javier. So I would say that the Astros do have the edge in that pitching matchup for tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
Another dominant pitching performance, I'll let you talk about the other couple after this, was in the Cubs-Pirates game. Marcus Stroman was pretty dominant last night, going 7 innings pitched, just giving up 5 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. The Cubs won this game 4-0. Stroman lowers his league-leading average, and he was dominant. There's simply no way to put it. I know he let a couple guys on, or he let a man on in the 7th, getting into a little trouble, and then he just struck out, I believe it was Palacios, or he struck someone out, Mitchell, I believe. He struck out Mitchell and ended the inning, ended his night. He had a really dominant performance. Marcus Stroman's been nothing short of insane this year, like insane.
Yeah.
He's had a couple bad performances, but his good well outweighs the bad. He's been really, really good.
That's a for sure. Attaboy Stroh.
Yeah, the Cubs won that game. Pirates just kind of slowly falling down even further. They're on an 8-game losing streak right now. They're 4th in the division. The Cubs actually overtook them from beating them last night.
Yeah.
So Cubs are now only 3.5 games back of the Reds, which let's talk about the Reds really quick too. The Reds won their 10th straight game last night. Absolutely incredible. They beat the Rockies, I believe, 7-6 or 8-6. They beat the Rockies 8-6. The Rockies had a little comeback in the 8th and 9th inning, but it wasn't enough. And all is good in Redlands still. Ellie De La Cruz homered last night. TJ Friedel hit a 3-run home run last night. The Reds were doing Reds things. And at the end of the day, that wins them ball games. 10 in a row, actually.
Yeah.
10 wins in a row.
It's gorgeous. But going back to the pitching performance of Marcus Stroman, I do want to say that for anyone who does not follow him on social media, especially on Twitter, I love when Marcus Stroman pitches, because if he goes out and has a very good game, he lets it fly on Twitter. You read everything, like people being like, wow, it's nice to see him walking the walk, and his response was, I've always been walking the walk. I'm one of the best pitchers, and I'm ready to go out there every day and pitch. And he more than proved that. 7 innings of shutout baseball with 5 hits and 5 strikeouts is a very, very good outing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I will say my only thing is I think moving forward, especially if the Cubs are going to be in this position where they might be contending for a wild card spot or even a playoff spot in general, when I say they, I mean the Cubs should definitely consider having Marcus Stroman go a little bit further into games to stretch him out more. Because think about it, coming in the playoffs, do you really want to rely on that Cubs bullpen over maybe having one more inning of Marcus Stroman? That's the way that I look at it. And it would be fun to watch Marcus Stroman go out there and pitch longer and longer, because when he's on the mound, this season especially, it feels like he's been very, very dominant.
He went 7 innings.
I know.
He threw 98 pitches. They don't want to put him back out there for another whole inning. God forbid. They'd rather give their bullpen a clean inning, to work with. God forbid something happens and he's at like 120 pitches and you have to take him out. Then your bullpen doesn't have a clean inning. And especially for the bullpens like the Cubs, working with a clean inning is 10 times better than working with runners on base when you come in.
No, I get that, but I'm saying I want to see more Marcus Stroman pitching. I want to wake up one morning and see complete game shutout Marcus Stroman.
But I'm telling you why that didn't happen last night.
I know, but I'm being
trying to say that. I know, but it seems like you were trying to say that he should have went longer last night. I mean,
no.
7 innings. He also had his first walk in the inning before he got taken out. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was fine by the Cubs.
I just want to see more Marcus Stroman pitching. It sucks that we have to wait now 5 more days.
Why don't you tell us the other dominant pitching performances last night? Because there were a few.
There certainly were. The other two that I definitely want to highlight. Gerrit Cole goes 7 1/3 with 4 hits, 1 earned run, which if you watch the game, I don't know how earned it was. Oh, with 5 strikeouts and 1 walk. 8 strikeouts and 1 walk, including before getting taken out, he struck out the last 5 batters that he faced. He looked dominant. He was trolling the Seattle Mariners and their 9-hole hitter. I forgot his name even.
Whoa.
He was trolling the hell out of him.
That has to be cleared up. I saw what you meant. He was trolling him in the sense of, so it was his, last batter of the game, right?
Yeah, basically.
And he kept stepping out of the box, their 9-hole hitter, the Mariners' 9-hole hitter, and Cole was getting a little annoyed. Cole threw a pitch well over his head just because he didn't care, and then he struck him out. But the finger wag, as he was walking back to the dugout, he gave the entire Mariners bench a little finger wag. But after the game, he did say that Mariners manager Scott Servais was doing that to him. So he was doing that in response to him. He wasn't doing it to the 9-hole hitter.
No, I know. And my favorite part is that
I just want to clear that up, because that was not player-on-player type thing. That was player doing it back to the manager that was already doing it them first. So that needs to be cleared up.
And my favorite part about it is that Gerrit Cole threw a 99-mile-an-hour fastball to the 9-hole hitter, which is I think it was 4 ticks higher than any fastball that he was throwing that day. It was very clear that he didn't feel like or didn't have all the velocity that we know Gerrit Cole has in his dominant career so far. And the fact that he gassed it all the way up to 98, 99 on back-to-back at-bats for their 9-hole hitter was absolutely electric. It was so clear that Cole was so going to strike that guy out twice in a row. It was just so entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was really good. It was funny. Just kind of seeing it happen live was pretty funny. Yeah. But yeah, dominant performance from Gerrit Cole. Struck out 8, like we said.
Including 5 in a row.
Including 5 in a row, like you said. The Yankees won this one 3-1. George Kirby, I would like to say, also had a pretty good performance. He did give up 3 earned runs, but they were all in the first 2 innings, and one was a 2-run homer. So
the longest homer of Billy McKinney's career.
Yeah, it was a big homer from Billy McKinney, but he still went 7 innings. So 7 innings of work after giving up 3 runs in the first 2 innings is pretty good. Pretty good. So I just wanted to highlight that too. But the Yankees did take Game 1, and they snapped their 4-game losing streak. So that's something they really, really needed. Needed.
Oh yeah, for sure. And seeing, I believe Anthony Rizzo went 3 for 4, which, especially with Judge not in the lineup, a lot of the Yankee players have been on this really bad skid. So seeing that finally at least one of them in Anthony Rizzo is going to pick it up a little bit, or is it trending in the right direction to pick it up to be back to hitting where I believe everyone in baseball knows he can hit, is a very, very good sign, especially with Judge responding well to the second shot or whatever in his foot. But that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, we'll see if they can muster up some more hits tonight. They are facing Luis Castillo, so we'll see how that turns out.
I would love to bet money on a perfect game. Luis Castillo has been so good this season.
Luis Castillo versus Johnny Brito. So we'll see what happens in tonight's game. That should be interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
And then why don't you give us the last pitching performance you want to talk about? Because I have one more that I want.
Yeah, the last one that I wanted to talk about was Clayton Kershaw. 7 innings, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 5 hits, and no earned runs against the Los Angeles Angels. Dominant. Classic Clayton Kershaw, just absolutely going out there and dealing. He was nothing short of amazing, and I do genuinely think that having a guy like Clayton Kershaw in your rotation, if you're the Dodgers this season, is so vitally important, because the Dodgers historically, since I believe 2014 or 2013, have been an organization that wants to compete. And I feel like this organization, the Dodgers, would be in a completely different position if they did not have Clayton Kershaw. And he goes out there and proves it time and time again how valuable and how important he is to that organization and how good he is on the mound. So, Clayton Kershaw, round of applause. Clayton Kershaw. Round of applause for Clayton Kershaw, baby.
Pretty incredible, too. We came in to this Dodgers-Angels game saying that the Dodgers were kind of slow recently. Angels were really hot. And just like that, the Dodgers blanked the Angels. They went 2-0. Yes, the Dodgers only scored 2 runs, but their pitching made up for it. And they did stop that hot Angels team. So Clayton Kershaw was the centerpiece of that. And it's always fun to see Clayton Kershaw pitch. It's always fun. Future Hall of Famer.
For sure.
Clayton Kershaw. I wanted to talk about one more pitching performance.
Do share.
Eury Perez of the Miami Marlins went 6 innings pitched, gave up just 3 hits, but struck out 9. He lowered his season ERA to 1.54, a 1.54 ERA through 8 starts. He's given up literally, I want to say, 1 earned run in his entire career so far. Yeah, he's given up a few, but a 1.54 ERA in your first 8 career starts is pretty incredible. So
yeah,
I
it's
just wanted to
fabulous.
highlight that from Eury Perez. They lost the game 2-0 because bullpen gave up a couple runs, but Marlins also didn't score. So Eury Perez.
Yeah, go Marlins. Go ride with the boys down south till the day I die.
Oh, another game that I just wanted to highlight was the Phillies-Braves. Both came into that game with a 6-game win streak each. The Braves won 4-2. So the Braves have a 7-game win streak. Phillies reset a little bit. So, yeah. Do you want to get into the last topic here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Big guy, big man, Shohei Ohtani. You brought up this topic, so why don't you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so Shohei Ohtani, Los Angeles Angels' best starting pitcher and also their best hitter at the moment, which is still, it's been 5-6 years and it's still crazy to say that, is one of the, if not the hottest commodity coming up in this year's trade deadline, where there are a plethora of teams that are foaming at the mouth with the opportunity to trade for him and be able to sign him long-term before he hits the open market. However, yesterday the Angels GM, which I do apologize, but his name is slipping my mind right now, he said to the media that Shohei Ohtani is becoming less and less available by the day, and the Angels GM does think that there is no trade to be made for Shohei Ohtani in the sense of the Angels trading him away. I think the Angels GM said that he still feels confident in their ability to maybe work out a deal with him and re-sign him, because they do want him to compete in LA with the Los Angeles Angels. So, does that put a wrench in any of these big market teams' plans? Will we see... Now, we know, obviously, the number 1 team that has been linked to Shohei Ohtani since their new owner, Steve Cohen, has come in, is the New York Mets. They've been talking about trading for Ohtani for now. This is their second or third year talking about it. Do we see them even put in a bid? Do we see the Dodgers put in a bid? Do we see maybe a lower market team put in the bid and try to just ride it out for half a season? I don't know.
I don't think any. I don't think it puts a halt in any team's plans right now because I don't think any team was going to trade for him in the first place. Mostly because the Angels are in a wild card spot right now. The Angels are in a playoff spot.
It's true.
So why would they trade away the greatest player possibly in that franchise's history, their best pitcher and their best hitter? Why would they trade that guy away? And I don't think before the season started, I don't think it was justified to say that they might trade him because we didn't know how they were going to perform this season. And now that they're performing good, I think that it is kind of goes without saying. I don't even think the GM needs to come out and say that they're not going to trade him or they're not going to find a good deal because they're in the playoffs right now and they're only 5 games back of first place. So I didn't think it was going to happen beforehand, and I don't think it's going to happen now. That's the way I see it.
I'm a little bit opposite of you. I did believe that it was going to happen before. However, with these comments that the Angels are making, I do understand where they're coming from in the sense of this team is treading water. They're above 500 right now, barring an absolute collapse before the deadline. I don't think that there's any way that Shohei Ohtani gets moved. However, if there's any team to have that collapse, it would be the Angels. So we'll just have to wait and see to figure out what goes on, because if the Angels do start to skid and do hit that collapse that we've seen from them a few times, I think we're talking about a fire sale for Shohei Ohtani in the sense of it might come out 2 days before the deadline that Shohei Ohtani is available for trade, and teams are going to be scrambling, and you're going to see, I think, the biggest trade in MLB history ever get made.
I'd be shocked if that did happen, like 2 days before the deadline and everyone started scrambling. I'd be shocked.
It would make for some really entertaining content.
Oh, 100%. But you're certainly right, by the way. It would be the biggest trade in MLB history because Shohei Ohtani literally has infinite value. So, I don't know.
This is an Angels name your price moment.
If I had to pick right now, I would say definitely not getting traded. Definitely not. I'd say it's definitely a higher chance that he doesn't than he does. So, I don't know. We'll see. Because who's going to want to give up that many assets? You know, you're going to and especially for half a year. I understand that, like, you know, if you're like the Mets or something, you're looking to win the World Series, or like even a team like I don't know. I really don't know.
You know where he's going?
Trade for him for half a year, and not only that, but think about the Juan Soto trade. Think about how long it took them to find a suitor and how long he was on the market, and that's for however many years of Juan Soto. This is going to be a bigger trade, so the Angels are going to receive more than 5 players back.
Easily.
You know? And I don't know what team would be willing to give up pretty much their entire farm system for half a year of Shohei Ohtani.
I do think that there are a few suitors out there, especially teams that have historically had a great farm system that have developed players time and time again. You could be talking about the Reds. You could be talking about the Dodgers. You could be talking about the Reds. You could be talking about the Miami Marlins and the boys down south. Shohei Ohtani loves pitching in Lone Depot Park. He loves winning championships there. Would not surprise me if he goes back there. Or the Mets, who have hit on plenty of prospects that have hit the top 100 and who are now contributing at bid league level. I could see them moving everybody and saying, but we have the best player in baseball. Shohei Ohtani, barring
half a year.
Yes, but Shohei Ohtani genuinely has the possibility to win MVP in both leagues right now. Let that sink in.
I don't see a sink.
It's okay. But he has the opportunity to win both MVPs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Mets farm system's good enough to trade for Ohtani right now.
Well,
I don't think it would be possible. I don't think there's even a trade that you could make up.
So you wouldn't take Mauricio, Beatty, Alvarez, Venitos, and like 4 other guys?
No, because
That's
most of those
half a
guys have been in the
team.
majors and haven't. Yeah, but most of those guys have been in the. All of those guys that you just named have been in the majors and they haven't really done anything. I mean, Alvarez has done the most out of that group, I'd say, but not enough to justify getting rid of the best player in baseball right now.
Well,
Not nearly enough.
they're missing having consistency. Everyone but Alvarez is. You have Escobar who comes in. You have
Alvarez hasn't been
Marcana.
consistent at all.
No, I'm
Alvarez
saying
hasn't been consistent.
in playing time, because Alvarez is definitely the best out of the funky bunch over there. But
Yes,
it's also because
still
he's
don't
had the
think
most opportunity to play.
I don't think a Mets Shohei Ohtani trade would be possible.
Oh, it's definitely going to be. If the Angels genuinely don't want him and would rather reset, they could definitely pull something off. It would be
I
Steve Cohen sends over $2 billion, along with a few players, and like I don't know, a bucket of water from the Hudson River. I don't know,
I just don't see it
and
happening.
they would all take off from LGA. That
He's a Royal. It's fine.
would be entertaining. No, I think hot take: send him to the Snakes, baby. Send him to the Snakes.
Again, Snakes don't have enough to trade for.
They have grit. They have
They're not
sand.
getting rid of their. They're not going to get rid of their young guys who have so far led them to first place in the NL West this season. So, although they have been sliding a little bit recently. I don't want to talk about it too much, but
They'll be okay.
there's still 14 games over 500. They're all right. The Giants are now on a 9-game win streak as well. They walked off
A walk
the
off walk.
Padres. They walked off the Padres again last night.
Yeah.
So not looking good for the Padres. Looking good for the Giants. 9-game win streak. We'll see. All right. Do you have anything else, Lewis?
No, that's really all I got today. I just do want to obviously show off the fact that a lot of guys are closing in towards the All Star game and closing in towards the All Star break, and there are plenty of votes to be made. So everyone, make sure that you're going and voting for the right guy to
Well,
get into the All
yeah,
Star game.
phase one ends tomorrow. Phase one is done tomorrow, so that's the starters pretty much announced. And yeah, I'm excited to see how many Blue Jays get in that shouldn't be in. And
Yeah, because they have an entire
yeah,
country behind them.
yep. But anyway, that's a conversation for what? Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about our All Star ballots really quick.
Yeah,
Talk about a little All Star stuff. So yeah, that'll do it for this episode. If you liked, make sure to leave a like, comment what you thought about what we talked about. Remember Jonah Heim blocking the plate. Do you think Shohei Ohtani is available? If so,
it
who would
says it
trade
all
for
right
him?
down there, right down here.
And just some dominant pitching performances. So let us know what you think, and like the video, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz stuff. Jazz Chisholm even started a rehab assignment, and we will see you guys in the next one. A peace. Jazz Chisholm.